This is Sara Abernethy. So she is the CEO of Y Hill Hospitality and operates Y Hill Kitchen and Brewing, Glass House Kitchen. I'm going to say this wrong, Sarah. Zolo. Okay. At Twisted Letter with her husband. In 2017, Sara returned to her hometown of Raleigh, where she leveraged her vision, tenacity, and grit to elevate one of the city's landmark restaurant spaces into Y Hill Kitchen and Brewing. Anybody been there? It's in my neighborhood, and we love it. A gastropub and craft brewery now affectionately known as Raleigh's Front Porch. Despite a devastating blow to the restaurant industry throughout the pandemic, through Sara's leadership, Y Hill persevered through a dire landscape and emerged triumphant as a local favorite and must-see dining experience for visitors alike. In 2022 and 2023, the group added 2 more restaurants to their portfolio, bringing much-needed options to the Research Triangle region. And I can tell you, I look out my window, I can see the restaurant, there are people there all the time, so they're doing great. When Sara is not running her business, you can find her in the kitchen with her toddler, cuddling her dog, and planning her next wine tasting adventure. Sara, come on up.
I am somebody who loves to make friends, loves to make human connections. So if you are an introvert in this room, watch out. Just kidding, I'm not coming for you. But I really do, and it is a common thread that has followed me throughout the entirety of my career. I did start my career in hospitality, and I loved it, and I continued to pursue that while I was supporting myself as a performing artist in New York City and an opera singer. And then I transitioned into fundraising for the performing arts, which transitioned into sales, which transitioned into business development, and then led me full circle back to hospitality. So it is sort of a windy path, but there's definitely a common thread. I do love people, and I love connecting with people. This is so great, because if I fuck this up, it's totally fine and on theme. In 2018, my husband Chris and I opened our first restaurant, and we had a vision, truly, precious little angel babies that we were, to build a really incredible culture built on positivity and trust. We wanted to show our employees hospitality. We wanted to model that for them because we wanted it to feel organic, to be able to cascade that down to our guests. And so I was on this mission to build a culture of trust, but where I fucked up was that building a culture of trust and positivity does not come from being friends with your employees. Sounds like some people in this room can relate. And you have to understand that I went from being an individual contributor, I had never directly managed anybody before, into this role of being owner, operator, boss, where I was overseeing everybody and everything. And the truth is, that's just not possible. So I'm going to tell you a fun little story about how this happened. One of the many times I've been in this position. So when I joined the business finally full-time, which was actually 3 years into our endeavor, I worked full-time while supporting Chris doing the restaurant for the first 3 years. We met somebody, we vibed with them, we really liked them, we wanted to put them in a leadership role. Very natural. We tend to hire people and be drawn towards people that we like and we enjoy being around. They were fun, they were professional, they were experienced, articulate, all great things. And we had a ball when she came on. They, small town. We had a ball. We played an April Fool's joke on the kitchen, and we put googly eyes on all the equipment, and it was so cute and fun, and we had inside jokes, and we got this great rapport going with the staff. So naturally, it became really easy to grab a quick coffee, grab lunch, oh, let's go grab drinks. And much like the theater world that I'm so familiar with, the restaurant industry is very tribal, and it's really natural to form these strong bonds with the people you're in such close quarters with all the time. So I made the mistake of starting to overshare things. I overshared things personally. I'm sorry to say to my husband, I overshared things about our marriage. Sorry. I overshared. Where I really went wrong was oversharing about my insecurities as a leader and where I felt like I was coming short and I was having imposter syndrome, and all these things are valid, but it just was a completely inappropriate avenue for that. But I thought, we're cool, she's my ally. I'm like, we're building trust, we have a great bond. So then what happens is that person starts to sort of fall short. You know, we're dropping the ball, we're missing some deadlines, we're missing some things. And so did I hold them accountable? Did I have a clear and direct conversation with them? No, I created a new custom job for them with a really healthy pay raise. Not cool, really not cool and not effective. So my intention came from a good place. I wanted them to feel like, you know, I've got you, I'm invested in your development, and I'm really rooting for you, and I'm showing you that by this. But really, I wasn't getting my end of the bargain as a boss for what I needed for my business. So separately, I was investigating an HR issue by reviewing some security camera footage from our office, and I happened to stumble upon a vent session centered on me, led by my bestie, who was sitting there with a glass of wine in her hand, saying things like, "That fucking bitch is a money-grubbing piece of shit. She doesn't care about you, she doesn't care about me, she doesn't care about anybody in this building. She doesn't even know what she's doing." I know. I mean, it truly shattered me. It truly shattered me. But I will tell you, who in this room has not had a vent session about their boss or their job when you're feeling frustrated for whatever reason? Like, to use a thing, who among you without sin cast the first stone, right? I've done this. We've all done this. So I'm not telling you this to fault that person. I'm telling you this because I failed to create boundaries for myself where I could let this roll off my back like water off a duck and recognize this is just normal human behavior. And this is going to happen when you're a boss. So I'm sorry to say, fuck up night, that this is not the last time that this happened to me. I have been in this position many times, and it is very embarrassing to say that to you all. Eventually, one has to look in the mirror and recognize that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting it to go differently. I had to clean up my side of the street and realize that to be an effective and powerful leader and to build this culture built on trust that I so passionately wanted to build, I had to change the rules for how I show up to work caring for my employees. Because the fact is, I am never not going to care about people. And I really believe that to be a kind, effective, and powerful leader, you have to care for your team as humans. You have to see them as whole people and allow them to show up as their messy, beautiful selves. So that's never going to change for me. But reorienting what it meant to care about people as a boss, this is what it now looks like for me, and I am not perfect. I am going to be learning these lessons every day, but this is what it looks like for me today. Every leadership book says this, so this is like not news, but you have to be consistent and hold people accountable. Okay, like we all know that, great. You have to be consistent and hold people accountable. But for me, what it meant was my team, if I had been in their shoes, I probably would have felt like, what version of Sara am I getting today? Is she gonna come in and have a brain dump, or is she gonna come in and be a boss bitch and be like, me? And that was inconsistent, and it did not create an environment of trust. In fact, it probably contributed to a little bit of a toxic situation, if I'm being honest, and that's a really hard pill to swallow. Accountability is kindness. And if you're a people pleaser like me, leaning into difficult conversations can be really hard, but it's actually an act of kindness because people want to do a good job and they want to know when they've veered off course so they can course correct. And I truly have come to believe that there are moments when the kindest thing you can do for somebody is to release them. And they may not see it like that, but release them in every sense of the word. You as a leader have to learn to fill your own cup outside of your business environment. You have to learn to fill your cup. What that looked like for me in this last year was I did hire an amazing executive coach whose name was Susan Hyatt, and if you'd like to be referred to her, I'm happy to connect you. But I did invest in a number of other relationships here in Raleigh with other business owners, some of whom are here tonight, and I appreciate you guys so much. Other people who have actually earned the right to me confiding in them, who understand the struggles that I'm going for, and who aren't gonna like shit on me for it, but are actually gonna hold me up. It means that I had to find some unicorn space for myself. I didn't need to get everything from my work or my business. And as an entrepreneur, especially in hospitality, it's such a slog. And as a mom to a young child, that can be really difficult. But unicorn space for play, so that I could be whole and complete and hold the space that I needed to hold for everybody else to be their messy self. And then finally, I don't know if I will ever fully learn this one, but I can give you this advice. You have got to learn to make peace with the version of yourself that exists in other people's reality. Because it is not you. It is not real. And as a leader, sometimes we have to be the villain in other people's story. And that is some capital T truth. So thank you all so much for receiving my story. Thank you, thank you, thank you.